Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors on this Monday morning, the first Monday of December. It's hard to believe that November is already gone by. I'm Winston Chester. I'm so glad you're here. Got a great show lined up. Got a great week lined up, too. So I know this past Thanksgiving week we had such a variety on Panhandle Outdoors. I was just so very proud of all the effort everybody put together. And just had a great week, and I got a lot of comments on a lot of different things we did. It was just a variety of different things for that week of Thanksgiving. So here we are in December now. Got a special guest here in the studio, and we're going to just do a real short weather and get our times and come back because we got so much to go over on some what late fall fishing has been here locally, and also what some winter fishing is going to be. Let's look at our fishing game forecast. This is brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty. The number is 832-6000. Looking at our time this morning, 7:26 to 9:26. That's a good 2-hour block right there, folks. And then tonight, 7:52 to 9:52. And I don't have the tide chart ready. I'm looking on the tide's going to be a neap tide. There's going to be a low tide at 2:30 a.m. and high tide at 6 p.m. And we'll get our river readings, all that, get caught up on the weather tomorrow when we have more time. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take our break, and we'll be right back with our special guest. Welcome back, and welcome to a familiar face here on Panhandle Outdoors, Matt Smith.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. I should say Captain Matt Smith.
Whichever works, we can keep it simple.
When I first met him, he was a little ninth grader, but he wasn't a captain then, but I had a feeling he was going to end up being a captain one day because we talked about it over and over again, how he and I got connected and all talking about fishing back in the PE locker room.
It's getting to be a little while ago. I don't really like to admit that, but it's just part of life, isn't it?
And Matt was really one of the first guests I had on. He's been with us since the early days of Panhandle Outdoors.
Talking about that, it's been a lot of fun and starting to get some archives.
Yeah, we are. It's building up. I was looking through some old videos the other day, and I looked a lot younger in some of those early days.
Yeah.
Anyway, you doing a lot of fishing now. You and Justin Leake, tell us about you.
Staying busy with PanamaCityInshore.com, and we've got 4 of us now. So it's Justin, myself, Steve Bachman, and Todd Jones. And neat thing about that is we're able to all work together. Yeah. We all kind of have our own niche. Mm-hmm. We've all got a couple boats, and it just really couldn't be a better situation for being able to cover all the different types of fishing that we do and accommodate our clientele, and gives us a little bit more of a specialized advantage when somebody calls us and said, hey, I'd like to do this, or we can put group trips together, and it's been a really, really good thing. Kind of started out just letting ourselves go where the business took us, and where we're at now, and it's been a good thing. Staying busy.
Well, you just mentioned all 4 of those names. People, they're credible names. They're good fishermen, and they're good guys, and enjoy getting on a boat with them.
Couldn't ask for a better situation. And you know, one of the neat things I tell people all the time, I get people from all over the country, we all do, is just telling them about this time of year, and they're really surprised. You know, they kind of typically think, well, once you get through the summer months, you know, you hang all your equipment up, your boat collects dust, and that's just not the case with us. We're 12 months out of the year.
And that's why it's hard, because you know we're our mentality. You fish in the summer and hunt in the winter.
Right.
But nothing says you can't do
both. No. You just kind of have to pick and choose. You can't do it all. But I myself, you know, I used to do a lot more hunting than I do now. I still enjoy it. Kind of something I'm planning to work back in a little more regularly, but pretty much dedicated to the fishing right now, 100%.
All right, man. Let's look back over this past summer and summer and fall fishing. We're going to review what happened but also we're going to preview how we're going to do some winter fishing and all. So we've got all kind of good information. So how did it go late summer and fall?
Well, late summer all the way through, through fall, and then to where we are now. We had a great summer. First and foremost, especially compared to last year when we didn't have the rain, but we had a fantastic summer. Had plenty of bait in the bay. Water's clean. This fall was kind of interesting. It was warm, and then it got cool relatively quickly. And it's amazing how much each year is different.
Yeah.
And trying to base, I know we talk about that a lot. We have talked about that a lot through the years. It's just one year to the next, and your tendency to say, well, this worked for me last year, it ought to work for me this year, and it's just not necessarily the case, and that's what keeps it interesting.
And that's the challenge in it right there, and we've all, even just recreational fishermen and captains, we have the same challenges. I caught fish right here last year at the same time of year.
And you can, and I give benefit of the doubt to the average guy that doesn't get to spend as much time on the water as we do. You kind of can't fault someone for sticking with that and saying, this I've got confidence in it, this worked for me, and I'm going to dedicate my Saturday, whatever day you have to fish, to do that, and you execute that plan and it doesn't work out. You can only blame somebody so much, because that's what they're going off what they know, whereas someone like us that spends as much time on the water, it's amazing the amount of water that we fish and that we cover. And I was just thinking the other day, I was fishing a particular area, and I thought to myself, man, last year I wasn't catching fish right here. There weren't fish right here. I was fishing somewhere else, and I would go and check those areas, and nothing. And it's just how much it changes from one year to the next.
I know that's reassuring to a lot of, like I say, weekend fishermen, like a lot, work full time like I do, and a lot of people out there do that. And like I say, I remember a while back, I took a gold spoon in this area at the mouth of a creek, and the last time I was there, we really caught some. And I told Gail, I said, we caught fish right here last time with this gold spoon.
Yep.
And they're not in here.
Well,
we laughed, but.
And you think to yourself, it seems the same, but if you kind of scale it down and get yourself down to the fish's level, their environment, how many differences there are, starting with water temperature, the tide, what's the bait situation there. There's on and on, this long list of variables that if you break it down, it was probably drastically different than the time before. But going from summer to fall, we had a pretty smooth transition. We're pretty much in the time of year now where our water temperature's down low enough. You don't have a lot of bait fish activity. You don't have a lot of near as much fish movement, and fish are starting to settle into their areas where they're going to spend the winter if our temperatures, stay as cool as they are.
Well, we had a real cold week in Thanksgiving,
right,
or right before Thanksgiving, that week before that, and that sort of got to move around a little bit too.
Absolutely, that's all it takes. Those couple cold nights down in the 20s, that'll do it.
And we talk about every day. I give the water temperature along with air temperature, and some people wonder why I do that, but that is so important.
It is so important, and going back to a fish's environment, 1 degree temperature change is a big deal to a fish. For us, we really don't assimilate much with that, but it's really that minute. And take into consideration over a week's time, 5 or 10 degrees, you're looking at a major change.
And I do these little homemade charts and all where we do that, and you can see that. And another thing too, Matt, we got a lot of freshwater folks too to watch the show, and it's a parallel between that saltwater temperature and the freshwater. It's not going to be quite as drastic. It's not going to go up as high or down low, but it's still going to be that same kind of movement.
That's right. And the other thing is during the winter you get your negative tides, your super low tides, and so take an area that you're used to fishing, and one night that north wind comes in, that tide falls out. Instead of there being 3 feet of water in that area, there's a foot of water. And that foot of water doesn't take a whole lot to get really, really cold.
That's a good point.
That creates a totally different aspect of the inshore fishing that we do, the shallow water fishing, where you can go and access and where fish will be.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and come back and look at some pictures Matt brought. Welcome back. Here with Captain Matt Smith, PanamaCityInshore.com. Go on their website. You got all kind of stuff on there.
We do. Keep it posted, and we got a great Facebook page where we post our daily catches.
We got some pictures. Let's talk about some of these pictures here you brought, Matt.
Well, we talk about. I know, Justin and I talk a lot about when we've been on in the past this time of year and just how much we enjoy it. The shallow water fishing, particularly for redfish. That's really our target species this time of year. We do some other types of fishing, but the shallow water redfish is my personal favorite, and something we really enjoy. The fly fishing. When the opportunity presents itself, this is the best time of year to fly fish for redfish, and you get your conditions right, and there's nothing like it. One of the most enjoyable things is just the clientele. Serious fly fishermen are fully aware of the challenge and what all has to happen for that situation to present itself and for it to be successful. And for us as a guide, it's probably some of the most rewarding trips that we'll do is taking someone and making that happen, because this is not an easy thing. 4 days and not.
And they know it's a challenge, like you said.
That's it.
And we all know that. And all the conditions have to be right.
I mean, it's so many times so perfect. And the neat thing about fly fishing is when you really get into it, is you pay attention to details that I think you've never looked at before, and I know a lot of fishermen don't. I mean, literally just the angle of the sun or the clouds over the sun. I mean, you've got to have the visibility. Everything's got to be just right, and so I think it will make you a better fisherman. Highly encourage anybody to look into it, and it's just something that takes a lot of time. It's not something you're going to pick up and get real proficient with in a hurry, but
that's right.
Very rewarding.
Well, I teach it in an outdoor and we just do the basic fundamentals of it, and just encourage to get a foundation, encourage them to take it on themselves. And we've had kids over the years that's done that.
Absolutely.
And it's fascinating, like you say, it's about matching a hatch and talk about things like that, even down in Weewall or out here on West Bay. It's important.
Absolutely. And that picture, that first picture was, you could see the clouds had come over the sun, and I spotted that fish, probably from, I don't know, maybe 60 yards away.
Wow.
Had a little beam of sun that came down through the clouds, and saw the fish, got over there, got a presentation, guy made a great cast, hooked the fish, and then within that time the clouds came over, and you can tell from the pictures, it's kind of gloomy, and had that cloud come over 30 seconds before, probably would have not had a chance to even see that fish, much less catch it. So that's how touch and go it is. But that's what it's all about.
That's a good experience. All right, this next picture here.
That's just the release there, and just beautiful.
Beautiful spot.
See the tail on that fish. Do a lot of catch and release, and those fish are just real special to us. Another picture, just I was riding around the same time a gentleman I took from Moultrie, Georgia, and with a nice redfish, and that's all spinning tackle, and just really introducing him to the shallow water fishing, the sight fishing, and it was a great day.
All right.
And then the next picture, just a young couple that I took, and do some deep water fishing this time of year too for the redfish. They'll school up, and that's just. Even that much better, catch those fish deep. It's nice that probably one of the most interesting thing about a redfish is just the different the different ends of the spectrum. When you catch them in less than a foot of water, and then the next day, if conditions permit, you might be fishing in 40, 50 feet of water.
Yeah,
same fish.
Yeah, that's true too. And I like to see these couples fishing together. I always say a couple that fishes together stays together.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I know everybody loves to catch redfish.
Yep.
This time of year, this is the first week of December, and a lot of folks gonna be off during Christmas break, and like I say, a lot of folks in the woods. But I'm the same way. I take more breaks every now and then. I'm going to fish some down at the Cape in St. Joe Bay during the Christmas holidays. So tell these folks how to target fish in December, basically.
Well, one of the main things to consider is fish, whether it's trout or redfish. But redfish, since we're specifically discussing them, they're going to bunch up. They're going to school up this time of year. One of the biggest differences is, say, in the spring, you can fish over a big area, any type of shallow water flat in the Panhandle, and you'd have fish scattered. Areas. You have singles and doubles and fish over a large area, whereas this time of year those fish are going to be schooled together. They're going to be concentrated. Going back to the situation with the water and the tides, you're going to have much less water in a lot of these areas. So on one hand, sometimes it makes it a little difficult to find the fish, but when you find them, they're going to be more concentrated, and that's the name of the game. So you've got to fish an area that has plenty of water, and ideally find the fish schooled up. Creeks, bios, any type of pothole, fish are just going to stay deeper. And you want to basically cover water. And what we do a lot of times is in scouting is look for areas. We've got a lot of areas we fish year in and year out. But I'm looking for deeper water, more stable conditions, and once I get there, I want to slow down and fish deeper.
And not necessarily going to guarantee they're going to be there the next day.
No,
that's the thing about it.
Well, and The fish are going to stay. Fish are going to stay around the same areas if the conditions stay the same. One of the most challenging things is we typically here get warming trends. And so you get a nice cold spell, those fish are schooled up and they'll stick around and you can kind of consistently catch them. But as soon as that weather warms up, you're going to have fish kind of moving. They're not going to be as schooled up, and that's just kind of the ebb and the flow of the working with the weather.
All right, we're going to take our final break and we'll come back. Matt's going to tell us some of the basic baits we want to use in the wintertime, okay? Be right back. Welcome back. So here we're Captain Matt Smith, and we're talking about winter fishing. We've capped all kind of stuff. And Matt, we sit here and do a lot of talking, but it's nothing. We were joking about off air about how we can tell Jeff. And Jeff, y'all know we talk about Jeff all the time. He's our director, producer, cameraman. He does 3 jobs in one. How can Jeff catch some fish? The first thing you got to get off work.
Exactly, and he said
you got to do.
And he said he doesn't care if he catches one as long as he's out there. So that's the right attitude.
So we're saying the same thing. All of us, we have to go. Number one.
Absolutely, you got to be there first to catch one. Absolutely.
But in particular though, like I say, a lot of folks have off in December and all, and we talk about areas you're going to target. What are some baits that y'all would use as guides? What y'all try to do?
Well, we're kind of past the point of throwing a lot of topwater. On your warmer days, you can still throw a topwater and catch fish. A trout will bite a topwater at daylight, and but for the most part, I pretty much am fishing subsurface stuff this time of year. I like either a suspending jerkbait, and if day in and day out, if I had to pick one particular bait that I was going to fish in the wintertime with, it would be a grub. 3-inch grub. Everybody has their particular brand that they like, whether you like the Gulp products, Z-Man. It's basically just something you can fish on a lead head. Usually stay around a 1/4 ounce, 3/16 to a 1/4 ounce jig head. Keep that on the bottom, keep it in the water, fish it slow, and it's just very versatile. Yeah, and it's easy bait to fish. That's my go-to. And
any particular colors that you like it, or you just move around?
I move around, but I'm more natural. I stick more of a natural color. Any of your darker colors, brown to mimic a shrimp or crab, something that mimics a bait fish. There again, I think it's a lot about being in the right place at the right time. I feel like if you've got a bait that mimics the size, I think that's as much or more important than the color. If I'm in dirtier water, I'm going to use a brighter color, something that stands out a little bit more.
Yeah, I like the root beer color, which is like the brown color.
Excellent.
The area, of course, you got West Bay. Y'all fish all around, but where those little creeks and all come in
Apalachicola into the Apalachicola.
That's
absolutely
some good areas.
It's very good areas. And the neat thing about down there is we talk about fishing shallow water and looking for deep water. You can get in a slough or a creek down there and basically spend a day, and that's going back to kind of your approach. It all looks the same, and unless you've got a couple particular areas or holes that you want to fish and target specifically, the best thing you can do is get a trolling motor in the water and just fish. Don't get in a big hurry, but commit to that area and fish it, and really make sure that you're fishing the entire water column. Fish will suspend this time of year, and just fish through that area. And if you get a bite, slow down, really pay attention, look at the surroundings. Fish that area thoroughly, and then what I'll do a lot of times, especially in an unfamiliar area, is go in that area after I've fished it and just try to figure out, okay, look at my bottom machine. What do we have here? Well, we've got a 5-foot depth change. Those fish are here, say on the outside of a channel swing or a bend, and then try to mimic that as I continue to fish. Look for areas like that. And that's how you learn and scout areas. But very, very good fishing down there this time of year.
It is excellent, all. And then I'm with some guys. Sometimes we'll go like in the Highland View Canal, and we'll in December we'll troll some slow troll. You mentioned trolling motor, so it made me think about it. And that's been successful.
Very successful, and it's all in. Some people would prefer to anchor and fish. You can do that with live bait. You can move along and throw artificials like the grubs we were talking about, or you can troll. All of which, and on any given day, can be more productive than the other. On a day where you've got really tough conditions, say in that canal, for instance, and you've got a 25 knot north wind and it's ripping down that canal, you might want to kind of get in the area you can tuck out of it and
yeah. Now, let me ask you this. There's a whole group of 4 of y'all, and at times I guess all 4 of y'all on the water. That's not unusual.
Nope.
Do y'all communicate a lot and try to help each other out?
We do if we're in the general area. You know, you can only be at one place at a time, but absolutely, if we're in a general area, we're going to communicate, and that's a huge advantage.
Yes, that is.
Or, for instance, if I had in mind to go fish a particular area and I was going to, say, plan the day around it, I'm going to call and check with the guys and see, have you been over there? Have you checked this? And that's a big thing. And just working together, just like you do with your group of friends, your family, anybody else. You just got to have the right people.
And a lot of times, when you say, hey, they're biting over here, that's true.
That's it.
Yeah. But the thing about it, we talk about this over and again, that's why we started a segment about you got to just stop, you got to go when they're biting.
You got to go when they're biting. And you can't always pick the best days. I tell you, some of the more memorable and rewarding days have been on some of the most challenging. And how you rate a day as far as success. Number one, getting to go is the main thing. You got to be out there, and then just take the day as it comes, and what you do the best with what you got to work with, like we always say.
Okay. Now this winter pattern, we're in winter now. We've got this winter pattern. When do y'all start thinking about a little bit of spring break as far as the pattern changing a little bit? Is it like in March maybe?
March, and and there again, going back, every year's different. Like last year we had some late weather in March, and it didn't get spring-like really until April. I mean, some of our harshest weather was in March, but certainly start thinking about it. You certainly start hoping that develops sooner, but generally late March into early May, where it starts to get consistent, and it's a great those transitional times when the seasons change. That's some of the most enjoyable.
Okay, about what month are you going to start going back to top water?
Generally by about April.
April. Okay.
You can throw a top water year round, but your fish just aren't going to feed as active on the surface. And neat thing with the spring, once that water starts to warm up, you'll start to see the bait fish coming back, and you'll see more activity near the surface, and that's generally your natural cue that you can start fishing those top waters.
The bait fish, that's so important.
That's it.
I know y'all follow. I communicate with Matt's always talking about the bait fish.
Well, you would think as guides we would have all these interesting discussions, and we get around and sipping coffee and talk about bait. So.
All right. I get a hold of y'all, Panama City,
inshore.com. Yeah, check us out.
I got all the phone numbers on there.
All the phone numbers and contacts, and keep up with us.
All right.
It's a good thing.
Matt, always good to see you.
Coach, pleasure. Always enjoy it.
All right. Matt Smith, one of our regulars here. You just got to come back more often.
That's it.
And I always, folks, want to thank God for these beautiful sunsets and these hungry fish, and always thank you, our loyal viewing audience, for watching Panhandle Outdoors. You do something good for someone else today, and God bless.
God bless you.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.